I believe that it's time that we bring segregation back. That means whites over there. That's it. You cannot move. You cannot stay. You're specifically designed to that area. And that's it. And that region is the Caucasus Mountains. That's where you can stay. And the blacks get to stay everywhere else. Because the planet belongs to us. Many of you have not known this, but every continent that exists on the planet that we all live in originally inhabited just nothing but black people. That was it. There was no Mexicans, there was no Chinese, nothing. It was just black people. And there was something that occurred to where there was drastic changes on our planet. Those drastic changes took place by something called ethnic cleansing. For those of you who are not familiar with the word ethnic cleansing, that means if you are a specific color and you live in a specific continent, what they're going to do is they're going to remove all of you and replace it with someone else. Now, this ethnic cleansing took place in the United States of America. Like I said, every continent was just nothing but black people. So what happened? Because what we heard is that America didn't have black people, but they actually had Indians. That's what they were called, right? Or natives. I'm here to tell you that that is a complete lie. Every continent had black people. And it was a plan to remove the black people from their land and replace it with another group of people. And I'm going to be telling you the cosmic story on how it all happened. So let me just give you an example. You look at South America and how the people speak Spanish. It used to be nothing but black people. You will find these people located in Guyana. Or you will find them located in Colombia. They'll be located in these two regions. But how come you go everywhere else and you don't see black people? That's because they were removed. And the best way to explain that is by me telling you the cosmic story on how it all happened. Your blacks are a completely different species than the whites. Completely different. The blacks are called the Anunnaki. That's the name of our species. And the whites are called the humans. That's the name of their species. Now, an Anunnaki and a human, obviously they're two different names, so they can't be the same. And we've all been taught is that there was blacks and then they changed colors by moving to a different climate. I'm here to fix that all up. No, we didn't change colors. We were actually killed and replaced by humans. That's what happened. So on our planet, it was nothing but Anunnaki. Just Anunnaki. Actually, the planet was called Ki, meaning the second home planet of the Anunnaki. And there was a war that took place. And in this war, it was Anunnaki versus humans with some other groups called the Pleiadians. I talk about this in detail in my textbook. But these other groups, they teamed up and they took over our planet. So the reason why I said segregation has to happen is because you humans have to be designated to an area. All of you whites have to be specifically designed to one region. That region is not Europe. And I'm not just including the whites. I'm talking about the Mexicans. I'm also including you because you are also a human. How do you know? Every single one of you has the same hair. It's no difference. So like I said, yes, we must bring segregation back. Because that's the only way that the planet returns to all black. And if you are thinking that I sound crazy for saying what I'm saying, then you must have not known the atrocities that have been committed against our race. I will tell you the stories that happened where I'm from. I'm from America. And in America, in the times that were before I was born, many of my people were killed. And I'm talking about the children. This is where a child, they would go to school. And, my mom, she would talk about how times at that time were very different. She would say that we weren't even allowed to go inside of certain restaurants. We would have to walk in the back. I'm like, I don't know if you're that old. Maybe my grandma had to do that. Maybe not you. But she said, yeah, we had to go into the backside, or there was a specific town that we couldn't go to, specific areas, and we were just not allowed. And I said, well, why did you all go for this? You telling me that you just allowed your own people on your planet to not go to certain areas? And she said, Tassim, if you lived in those times, you would follow just like what they did. I said, no, I would not. Because the times are different now, but I'm still not following what the people do now. Most of your black people, what they do now is they walk around with their head down, believing that they're unintelligent. Many of them believe that a Caucasian is more intelligent than them. And I know for a fact that there's not a single Caucasian that doesn't even stand a chance at my level of intelligence. Not even close. You have the IQ of a level 30. Your brain is small and tiny. You don't stand a chance. So if I lived in those times, I would have been, and I'll tell you the truth, that many wars would have broken out, and I would have had a giant military, and I would have just been wiping them out. Day after day after day. They would know me as the commander or the king. I'll be on all the news outlets. Tassim Daliza, the man that's taking over our towns. And all of the humans would be fearing every time they see me. So my mom, she would tell these stories of how we didn't have certain rights. We weren't allowed to do certain things. And then Martin Luther King, he changed it. And now we're all equal, according to what they're saying, correct? Equal. But let me tell you the true story. What they taught you in your social studies class was a fabricated lie. We didn't have areas to where we were not allowed to go in. And the answer for that is because we had our own cities. Not towns, but cities. These cities were called Illinois. You're like, what do you mean? How come Illinois? What do you mean Illinois? How is that the name of one of our cities? Illinois was actually led by one of our kings, and his name was Chief Chicago. He is the original creator of that entire state or region or estate. And what King Chicago was doing is he was building universities, coliseums, stadiums, free electricity, free energy. Many Anunnaki, I'm talking about the population of Chicago at the time, had a population of 40 million. Just back then. Just back then. I talk about this in my textbook. And what happened in Chicago, let me just go into it. In Chicago, we had palaces. You're like, what do you mean? I thought that the United States was nothing but just dirt and bricks and maybe some slaves. Didn't they tell us that we was all slaves? They lied. Like I'm saying, so Chicago had a palace. And not just one, but hundreds. What a palace is it is a building that is built out of specific ingredients. It is built off of an ingredient or a element called limestone. This is what many of your downtown cities are created with. This is why the buildings are able to last for 500 years. Because it was built out of limestone. And the Anunnaki, or the black race, designed it. Before all human contact, we designed these cities. We not only had limestone, but we had andesite. Used to make the pillars and the window frames. And every single one of these buildings had faces and carved into them. The buildings were very intricate and very design oriented, and we spent many, many years building these buildings. Many years. And at the top of every single building, we would have a pointy top, a tip at the top of the building, and it would have a copper-made wire. And the purpose for that wire, it was just bringing in electricity to the building, because the electricity came from the ground up. So that's what we had. So like I said, Illinois was created by the Anunnaki race, which is my race. And what happened, and why isn't it like that anymore, is because there was a war that took place. There was a war between the Anunnaki and the humans. And we lost that war. We did. Just like every civilization, if you lose a war, the people become enslaved. And that's what happened on our soil. The name of this country was not called the United States at that time, but it was called Tamari. Tamari means the beloved land. So that is the name of this country that we all live in, Tamari. And the people who live here, or the black people who lived there, were called Tamaricans. That is our nationality. So just like Chicago, we had palaces, but not only palaces, we had castles. Many castles designed, and we had maids, butlers. Not everybody's an entrepreneur, so we had servants. We had all of that. And we created many libraries in Illinois and in the specific city of Chicago. Beautiful libraries that were 100,000 square feet in diameter. That's how large they were. Many of these libraries were built out of crystals. We had specific crystal buildings built out of nothing but crystals. You would be able to look through it. And if you're thinking, how could a building built out of crystals last? That's how intelligent we are as the Anunnaki race. Many buildings built out of crystals, and not only these buildings were built in this state of Illinois, but it was also built in the state of Mississippi. Mississippi was one of our most grandest and most giant estates in Tamari. So Tamari was not a country, but it was a kingdom. And in this kingdom, we had many estates. In California, we had our Anunnaki women over there, and they were called the California Warriors. This was led by an Anunnaki woman named Queen Calafia. She is the creator of the entire California, and she is an Anunnaki who descends from this land. She is the creator of California, and under her she had many servants, and she had an entire military under her. And like I said, the entire country, or the entire nation, was just black people. It was just us. There was no one else. Just us. No one else. And I have to return it back to that. There's a way in which we accomplish that. And that way from which we accomplish that is, number one, it starts off with educating the next generation on what their mission, purpose, and passion is. By educating the youth on what their mission is, we are going to direct their mission towards taking our country back. As I said, that is the only way. Specifically, what the humans are doing is they are educating our youth on a trajectory or on a pathway of becoming nothing but rappers or drug dealers or gang members. And we can change that by creating education. This is why I have created a textbook in order to steer the path so many of our youth can become emperors. That's our true title, an emperor, an empress. That is a woman emperor. Many of us will become that. Heads of state. That's what we will become just by the textbook. We have to educate our own. And many of them will become authors. I'll be having classes that specifically teach you how to create your own textbook or your own book in general. Create your own manuscripts, covers. And this is going to determine your path on Planet Key. That is our solution. With that being said, I want you to know that me teaching this is not going to be easy. It is going to raise red flags, and they're going to say that we are a terrorist group. This is what they label many of your Anunnaki as. For example, we're going to talk about the continent of Africa. Now, many of you, if you are paying attention to what's going on in Africa right now, you would know that there is a great Anunnaki man by the name of Ibrahim Traore. And what he is doing is he kicked out all of the humans from his country. This is the country of Burkina Faso. This is a great king, and what he has done is he has kicked all of the whites out of his country, and he has said that you are no longer allowed to come into my country. You're not allowed. And not only that he has said that, but he has got his neighboring states to say that. These countries are called Niger and Mali. They have said that we are going to kick all of the whites out. Get rid of all of their, what is it called? All of their military bases, and get rid of all of their embassies. So by him doing that, Ibrahim Traore, he has spread a domino effect that is starting to wake the people up, and now the people are saying, you know what? Our solution to independence, or our solution to having confidence, and our solution to having complete control and dominance of our country, our land, and our resources, our solution is to get rid of the whites. This is what they have done. And not only have they done it, but South Africa has done it as well. This is what the humans do. They have taken over our land by bloodshed, by violence, by weapons, and by killing. And by me saying that I need to take my land back by violence, bloodshed, weapons, and killing, they are saying that I'm wrong and I'm going to go to hell for saying that. Well, let me release some stress off of you. When we were little and we learned about hell, and that here is a place that has people who burn in fire for an eternity, that place does not exist. It is a made-up place created by the government in order to control you. And many of us have been controlled strictly based off of fear. Fear of hell. We have said to ourselves that if we take matters into our own hands and we start kicking out the whites, that we're going to go to hell for doing it. And here's my question. Did they go to hell for getting rid of your ancestors? I don't think so. Did they go to hell for killing your people? No. Did they go to hell for hanging your people on trees? I don't think so at all. Because they knew that it was all made up. They completely knew it. They knew it. That there was no hell that exists. And if there is no hell that exists, then there is also no heaven. They have used a manuscript in order to brainwash the children to believe in an invisible place that they go when they die. So let me tell you the truth. Heaven does not exist, and hell does not exist. Which actually exists is the reality, the physical. And by you being a Anunnaki, by you being a black person, you are an immortal being. Meaning you can never cease to exist. Meaning you can never die. And the reason is because we all have souls. So many of you who are watching this video, this is not your first lifetime. This might be your 20th or 30th lifetime. And I want to congratulate you all, and I want to say welcome back to Planet Key. It's good to have you all, Anunnaki. I'm thankful that you are here and willing to help me in this war against the humans. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you for all that you do. I really do, and I appreciate you for assisting me. So welcome back to Planet Key. Because you are immortal, you can never cease to exist. And once you leave this physical body, you have a decision. You either come back to Planet Key, or you go somewhere else. That somewhere else being another planet. That means that you have another mission on another planet that you were supposed to attend to. That is the reality. There is no invisible God in the sky, because the God has always been the black race. Actually, the word Anunnaki means God. And the word God is the human version, or the human word for the name Anunnaki. That's the reality. So now that we have a little bit of clarification, we now know that there is no hell, meaning that there is no punishment for doing what I'm supposed to do. And I want you to know that we have ancestors who are supporting us and guiding us. And I want you to know that they are cheering you on when you know that what you have to do is right. And that is freeing your people. So if you have to get rid of some of the whites because they're occupying your space, I want you to know that your Anunnaki are not going to frown upon you, nor are they going to look down upon you, nor are they going to punish you for doing what you had to do in the first place. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to assist you. Not only mentally, but physically. So you can get the job done on a grander scale. That's what they're going to do. So, by knowing that we are immortal and that there is no punishment, where do we go from here? We talked about Africa and how Burkina Faso, with Ibrahim Traore, he has kicked the whites out. Mali and Niger have kicked the whites out. And South Africa is kicking the whites out. They know that their people were completely killed for protesting. They know that. By their children being in the street and saying that we want equality, the whites shot them down. And 30 years later, because this happened in the 1990s, before I was born. It happened in the 90s, and they have remembered that the way that the whites took over South Africa was by killing the blacks. Well, let me tell you this, the way that the whites are in control of America was by killing the blacks. They didn't bring anybody over here. They saw millions of us over here. We invited them and we shared our kind and grace. And they killed us. The same thing that happened in South Africa happened in America. And our country was taken over. The same thing that happened in South Africa happened in South America. The whites killed the blacks and took over the land. So this is why we all need segregation back. And there's a little bit more to segregation, but we're just going to say on segregation. This means that the entire state of Illinois belongs to the blacks, and we will be kicking all of the whites out. There's nothing that you can do to stop me. You can cry all you want, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, as I already know that there is no hell, so I can do whatever the hell I want to do. It doesn't exist. There's no heaven either, and I'm immortal, so I just come back. So I'm supposed to do what I have to do, and that's by taking Illinois back. That's by taking California back. That's by taking Florida back. That's by taking Mississippi back. It's by taking Georgia back. That's by taking the Carolinas back. It's by taking New York back. That's what it means. That's what it means. There has to be segregation. And I don't give a damn what Martin Luther King did. He actually set us back. He didn't put us forward because we had entire cities and palaces and castles, monuments and coliseums and stadiums. Why the hell would I want to have equal rights with you? Why? Equal rights. Why would I want to have that? That means I have to give up my stuff to go live under your system. Why would I want that? Why? Martin Luther King was a member of the Freemason Society. And he was tasked with a specific mission in mind, and that task was to pacify the Anunnaki race. That means do not fight violence with violence, but fight violence with love. And if you fight violence with love, then you're going to get killed. You cannot fight violence with love. That obviously does not work. And if it worked, why the hell do whites control everything? If it works, why do they control everything? They're not loving, they're actually doing violence. I thought love works. It doesn't. Violence works. And it's not violence, it's getting rid of the evil. That's what it is. And like I said, your Anunnaki, your ancestors will not frown upon you for getting rid of the evil. They've already known it, they've already experienced it, and they've already died. Already. So from their non-physical perspective, they know that something has to change. The methods that they try do not work. So you have to do it differently. That's what they do know. They know that. And I know that they will be cheering you on. So do not get embarrassed or feel depressed if there is a black person who says that you are wrong for simply wanting to take your country back. Do not feel sad about it. Just say that that person does not know what our people have gone through, and they do not want freedom. They don't. They don't want a country with all blacks. They want something else. And usually these people who are saying that, they're usually in relationships with whites. They either have a white girlfriend. That's what the men, the men have a white girlfriend or a Mexican girlfriend. And the women who say that what you're doing is not right, they actually have a white boyfriend or a Mexican boyfriend. They cannot live in our society. They will have to move away with their white or Mexican, whoever they're in a relationship with. They will have to move with their significant other. They can't stay here. They can't say, you know what, Tassim, Delisa, I'm sorry. I'm now one of you guys. Please accept me. Please, I beg you for your forgiveness. I will say, get the hell out of my goddamn face before I get rid of you. I've already learned. And many of you are traitors. And once you betray the nation, you've already shown who you are. You've already shown your hand. And that means that there is no forgiveness for you. Listen, I can forgive you. Maybe. Because they say once you forgive, now you let go of a lot of energy. So I can forgive you. But that does not mean I'm stupid. So I forgive you and off you go. Go with your human. Go with your white. Go with your Mexican. I know what I'm talking about because I have family members who have went to the wrong side of the tracks. I have. Some of us do. You know, I can't control them. Not yet. You know, I have to get some power first. But I have that. So I've experienced that in my family. So I know what I'm talking about. I know. And our solution is to get rid of the whites. We have to do that. And I need you all to team up with me. So to give you a story on all of this. Yes, we have to start segregation. We have to have designated areas for Anunnaki. And then the whites have to go somewhere else. That means in a completely different country. It don't matter where they go. They can go to Antarctica, but they can't stay here. That's where they can go. Once they're in Antarctica, then let me tell you what we will do. When we start raising into power and taking our country back, called Tamari, we will be sending them all away. We'll send them on a expedition to Antarctica. Then we'll go to South America. We'll take the land back, rename it, and put it in the name of the Anunnaki race. And we'll send all of the non-Anunnaki to Antarctica and say that they can stay there. Once we group all of these humans and we kick them out all of our countries, then we go to Antarctica and we say, you know, you cannot stay here anymore. You all have to go. And they'll say, where do we go? This is the end of the planet. I say, no, it's not. There's actually more land out there. So off you go. So off they go to the other land that's beyond Antarctica. And they see much grasslands and islands and other kingdoms. And we will allow them to stay there for about 2 months. And after 2 months, we will go out there past Antarctica into these islands. And we will say, you can no longer stay here. Off you go. And we'll send them away and they go even further and further beyond. And now they see another wall of ice. And we say that this is your line, this is where you can stay. And we allow them to stay there for 4 months. And after 4 months, we come back and we say, you are no longer allowed to stay here. Off you go. And they will go. They'll try to put up a fight and we're just going to get rid of the strongest people. So everyone else is afraid to fight. And they go further and further and further. And after staying there for 6 months, we come over there and we say, off you go. You cannot stay on our planet. This story resembles what they have done to us. We have tried to have the moments of peace, and we have lived under a, what is it called? Democracy? Where we had to vote? Voting does not work anyway. Voting does not work. We have lived under a voting system kissing their ass. And at the end of the day, they blew our cities up. And then they said, off you go. To best believe that what I'm doing is not wrong. Some of our people would say that you cannot do what they did because it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's my planet. How is it wrong? I will say, off you go. So the first thing that we need is segregation. The second thing that we need is collectiveness. And the only way to come together and have a collective group is by having one uniform, one military, and one currency. Only way. That's the only way. Only way. We want to come together, and you might have heard many of our people say this. They say black people just cannot stick together. For those who are not trying to stick together, we say off you go. And instead we will work with those who are trying to stick together. It's the only way. So, with that being said, the only way to have collectiveness and collectivism is to have one nation. The reason why many of our black Americans are not sticking together simply is because they do not know their nationality. They believe that they are a African American and you're not even from Africa. And those who know that they're not from Africa, they believe that they're a black American and you're not even American. The country was called Tamari before it was colonized. Your nationality is Tamarican. So by all of us being Tamaricans, we will have collectivism. And it does not start off with the elderly. I'll explain this to you. Teaching the ones who are already the age of 27 and above is a waste of time. They are a waste of time. They're not willing to learn anything different nor anything new. So the solution is to teach someone who is the age of 5 years old between 18. That's the solution, 5 to 18. If we start teaching our people from the age of 5, we can instill our beliefs, our mentality, our mindset, and our core beliefs into their subconscious mind. And they will start to adopt the fact that they are Tamarican. All they would know is that this land or this country is called Tamari. And they're the Tamaricans, and they will wear that with honor. They will say that I am willing to die for my kingdom. That is what they will say. They will say, I'm willing to die. They will say, sir, this is our country. Let's say the war breaks out and many of us are stuck inside of we're stuck and we're surrounded by a group of humans. Not a group, but let's say we're surrounded by maybe 10,000. They're surrounding us. They're closing in. And if we have taught the youth this since they were the age of 5 years old, they will look at me and they will say, sir, it is an honor to serve my country. I am a Tamarican. And I'm willing to die for my people and to die for what I believe in. So when the humans are trying to come in, this is where we start building confidence. And I look at my Anunnaki who we've raised from 5 and 18 and we say, it's not over here. We're going to win. So we start pushing towards different ways, and we have one of the Anunnaki leads a distraction. All the humans look over there, and we go on the left side and we flank them. They don't even see it coming, but a lot of their men are just dropping. Just dropping. All you hear is dropping. A lot of their men are just dropping. They're wondering what's going on. Didn't we have them surrounded? Not anymore, because we have now built confidence. That is a solution. It is time to get rid of fear from your DNA. It does not belong in who you are because you are not a being who fears. You don't fear anything because you are immortal. You don't even fear God because that God that they taught us does not exist. And the only God that exists is the black race. The only God that exists is a physical being, and that God is me, and that God is you. So, coming together means we all must have one nationality. That's what coming together is. And number 3, once we have segregation, and after we have collectiveness, we have coming together. It's still collectiveness, but it's collectiveness with all of our Anunnaki. That means that the Tamaricans, which is us, come together with our people in South America. And we come together with our people in Africa. They've already kicked the whites out, so they've already laid the foundation. They've already done it. All we have to do is follow in their footsteps and say that obviously getting rid of the whites from our country is a solution. So, you know what? We will follow in your footsteps. So we'll be coming together with our African brothers and sisters. And let me just intertwine this. America is trying to go to war with Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, because he has kicked the whites out and he has laid the foundation that we have the ability to kick the whites out. Yes, we do. He started doing that. So by him doing that, we are observing and we're looking at him and we're saying, if he can do it, then why can't I do it? Whatever you can do, I can do also. They've known that once a person does something that other people are going to start observing and looking at and saying, you know what? I can do that too. This is why we don't have one refrigerator company. You have hundreds and hundreds of refrigerator companies because one person created a refrigerator and the other people have said, I can do that too. So that's why America is trying to stop it, but it cannot stop. Because already 4 countries have done it, and there's a 5th country called Namibia that is also doing it. I was in Africa, and I loved it. And my whole purpose over there was saying that we must get rid of the whites. They don't belong on our continent. Africa belongs to the Anunnaki. It doesn't matter if I'm from America. It belongs to me more than it belongs to the whites. I have more say-so over Africa than the whites because this is my planet. So the United States has known that, and they knew that it was going to trickle over to America, and a lot of Americas were going to have uprisings, and we were going to say, whatever they're doing in Burkina Faso, we can do that too. We can kick the whites out. And that's what they know. So the number 1, segregation. We have to implement segregation. We have to have specific areas to where whites can only stay. And then the blacks, we control everything else. Everything. That means that the whites may own, maybe they own about 5%. And then the blacks own 95%. That's what I mean by segregation. And that's what it has to be. And that's what they fear. They're afraid of that. They are. So, segregation is number 1. Coming together is number 2. And then coming together with all of the Anunnaki is number 3. So those are 3 steps that you all can follow. I need you to follow them. And with that being said, we are going to continue to go forward in our nation. For those of you who want to help me on this journey and on this pathway, I have created a textbook that has all of my teachings. These teachings are what you're going to be doing. You're going to teach these teachings that I am teaching you to your younger siblings, your brothers and sisters, your children. If you have a child, you're going to be teaching this to your children. And you're going to say that whatever they can do, I can do also, because I am also intelligent. So, in order to teach these teachings, you're going to be receiving my textbook. And if you're watching this video, I want you to get my textbook called This Planet Was Stolen from Black People. It is listed on my site called thisplanetwasstolen.com. You can find it in the digital version for $9 and in the physical paperback version for $30. It does not cost a lot. It is very inexpensive. In this textbook, not a regular book, it has images and is in full color. I need you to get your textbook today because your contributions are going to help me and help us take our nation back. I know you want change. I know that you genuinely want change. And I'm going to be the one that enacts change for you. I know that this is what you want. You want change, but you don't know how to go about it. I'm willing to teach you. All you have to do is follow me. I am one of the messiahs that was sent to Planet Key. That is who I am. So get the textbook called This Planet Was Stolen from Black People. You can find it on my website. For those of you who also want free information, you can find it in my Telegram channel that is listed in the description down below, called This Planet Was Stolen from Black People. You can find it there. And also, I want to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It does not cost any money. It is free. And it takes a little time out of your day. It takes no time. So subscribe to the channel. Support me, Tassim Deliza. And I appreciate all of you, Anunnaki. And I want to say thank you. We will continue going forward with this. We will take back our planet. And there's nothing that they can do. With that being said, I appreciate you. And I will see you all later. Goodbye, my Anunnaki.